So super excited today. I'm joined with Kimberly Graham. She's a rock star agent, been with our office since 2014, consistently high 100% recipient, right? REMAX 100% club recipient, consistently really close to platinum most years. So hopefully this year will be the one. And I think you started real estate in '06, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had relocated to Edmonton, joined us in 2014. And so today we're going to chat about social media. You're going to share some do's and don'ts, some offenses that you're seeing out there, and things that you've learned along the way. And you have a rule of 3 that I'm interested to hearing more about.
I have a rule of 3. Yeah, I wouldn't even tell you what it was before we started. So actually really, really simple. So, through the years, I've been really fortunate to have real estate coaches who are even better at this kind of stuff than me. And I think this is something that I sort of figured out on my own and something that they have reaffirmed. So the rule of 3 is very simple. It's the 3 types of content you're going to post. So you're going to do a third real estate, whatever that looks like, and we can break that down. A third educational info and tips. And it can be anything. Like one of my favorite tips to share, and I'll actually do it every couple of years, is when you have a seller that installs a hot water tank, encourage them to write the date on it in black marker, like installed in 2014, right? Like this is a life rule, people. This is life hacking 101. And the third one is a little bit about yourself. Now, anybody who knows me knows I'm not a particularly private person. I'm pretty open with sharing things online, but there's a lot that I don't share. So this is your caravan. You can write it however you want. So if you're not comfortable putting pictures of your kids, don't, but maybe talk about how you play competitive soccer, whatever your thing is. Maybe, we have a local realtor here who competes in like lifting weights, I don't know, powerlifting. And she talks about that quite a bit. And I think that that's really, really cool because having a realtor is kind of an intimate relationship. We're involved in people's business and finances and sometimes their marriages, and we're in their bedrooms, and it's really it'd be kind of weird, but they want to know who we are too. And actually that's gotten me quite a bit of business because I'm not afraid to share who Kimberly is. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you get more of that. They get to know and like you already before even meeting with you that way. And you get those, I trust you calls, right? Like, ready to go with you, right? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and I want to break down too what a real estate posting is, because it's not just, hey, this is a house that I've listed. Although I do actually think that that's super relevant. You can do just sold, just coming to market, I listed this house, or like something really funky and unique about a house. Like, let's just say, I don't know, it has a dog washing station. Like that's not something that people are going to pick up from an exterior photo or a photo of the living room. So that's something that's kind of unique. And what's cool about that kind of stuff is you can create engaging content. And that's kind of my next set of rules that I want to talk about, is how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the algorithms of Facebook and YouTube and all of those things, they change all the time. So I don't know that there's a rule of thumb except to know that it changes all the time. And sometimes you just got to kind of roll with it and see what works for you. Yeah. So I think it's better, and in my professional experience, instead of posting every single day, several times a day, because you think that more matters, if you posted 3 times a week, so we're making a new rule of 3 here, Shane. 3 times a week that's actually engaging, that you share your opinion on, you're going to get way, way more, because then Facebook thinks you're important, right? So feel about Facebook however you want, but I'm telling you, it's still super relevant, and Facebook feeds into other platforms, and it gives you a really good place to go back and reshare, right? Like videos, whether you're using Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, Facebook's a really good platform to kind of be like your mothership. So you're not just going to take an article about stats and go, here's an article about stats. That's called throwing up all over the internet. And you don't want to do that. Yeah. You just want to put that on there, and you want to pick a couple points that you think are kind of interesting. And don't just copy and paste what somebody else said. You're going to want to Sheenify it or Kimify it or whatever, and put it in your own words and say, hey, I think it's really interesting that for the past 6 months, condos have been down, but hey, look, they actually went up last month. Do you have a condo you want to sell? And then that's the end of the ask. So questions are call to action. So if you're not doing that, you're informing people, but you're not inviting the kind of conversation I think that you're hoping to have.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to be, you want to set the stage for engagement, right? And I like what you said, gamify it, and like the stats are available everywhere. Like anybody can get the numbers, but what the hell do they mean, right? And that's where you can start to help people and provide a service, right?
Well, for sure. And I know you and I've talked about this before, but data is one thing, and the interpretation of data and what it actually means for people is massive and huge, and is something realtors can easily bring to the table. And then we're not leaving our clients to guess. Like, that's not our job. Our job isn't to make them guess. Our job is to inform them and help them make the decision that's right for them. And Facebook and social media in general is such a great way to do that. So
yeah,
don't just share articles. Tell us what you think, you guys.
Yeah. So let's do we cover our rule of three? We want to chat about some quick do's and don'ts.
Yeah. Okay, so don't get too hung up on having a perfect brand. I find one of the challenges when we work in talking about new agents or people coming into the industry is they get so hung up on what branding colors they should have and what they should do for this and what they should do for that. Just start posting stuff. And before you were a realtor, what are the questions that you had? Those are the same questions that everybody has. So start there and don't get too hung up on what it looks like, because that's not, it's going to be relevant down the line and you'll figure it out, I promise, and you'll change your mind 100 times. Just don't get stuck on it. So that's that. The other part of it is, because social media is just a form of interactive marketing, and all marketing is attempting to have a conversation with a specific audience.
Right.
You make sure that you know who you want to talk to. So, and you'll get kind of good at that over the years and you'll figure out who your audience is. But for example, if you're just going to have an Instagram full of pictures of you flexing and working out of the gym and being your beautiful self, I honestly support that as a human, but you're going to have a narrow market that talks to. And those are, you're probably talking to people in their late 20s and early 30s. But what does that tell me about real estate? You know, it tells me nothing. That can fit into your third. If your thing is fitness and you're really proud of your journey, hey man, I support that. I really, really do. But if you're not telling me anything about real estate, and you're only talking about yourself, I don't know that you're doing yourself any favors. And I don't mean that to sound harsh, because there is a small section of the market that will very much respond to that. But why wouldn't you want to have a broad section of the market and work with all kinds of people? You're really just going to expand your income base. So.
Yeah, so don't limit who your market is. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that, would you say that plays into being overly controversial or political? Those types of pieces? Yeah. What
are the rules? I don't know if I'm allowed to say these words, so you can definitely cut it out. But things you're not supposed to talk about on social media. Now, these are just other people's rules. If you guys want to make your own rules, you do you. But politics, sex, sexual orientation, money, religion. What are the other things? Religion, thank you. Yeah. Those are the things you're not supposed to talk about. However, if you feel, I think some of the political stuff, like the Black Lives Matter movement, has definitely come into our social media, and I think that that's really beautiful, and that's something that I definitely stand for, so I have no problem doing that. But I think anyone outside of my very closest friends and family would never know my political leanings, because I have many clients who share vastly different political stances and religious stances than me, and that's not important. I can still help, right? This is Canada. We have all different kinds of people, and that's actually really awesome. It makes me really proud to be a part of. So you can easily alienate people by going on large tirades, and so.
Great. And, you know, and I had one other quick question, I think, is what are you budgeting for time and managing your social media activity?
That's a really good question. So I prefer actually to do all of my social media by myself, because I genuinely enjoy it. So if you're not me and you're outsourcing that, that's probably going to cost you more money, but it costs me more time. And, you know, those are the two things that we have in terms of being self-employed. Those are our two attributes, I guess. So for me, it's a couple hours a week, but it's just kind of sometimes stuff I do in what I call 5-minute intervals. So if I show up to a viewing early and I know that I need to design an ad for something that I'm about to list, I can easily do that from my phone. And we could probably do a whole other thing on apps you can have on your phone that are free.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you guys are not familiar with Canva, you need to get familiar with Canva. And I actually love it so much. I pay for the pro version, which is the whopping price of $15 per month US. So I think it's like $18 Canadian. So it's totally, totally worth it. And they have stock photos on there. They have like animated graphics. They have all kinds of things. And they're not the same as everybody else. And you guys, this is free. So it takes a little bit of time to invest and learn that platform, but maybe 2-3 hours a week at most. And you can actually, if you're a structured schedule person, you guys know I'm not. If you are, you can say, okay, Wednesday afternoons between 1 and 4, I'm going to do all my stuff. And then you can go onto Facebook and you can like schedule that out, and then it's just done. You don't have to worry about it. And this is something you can easily pass on to your assistant as well.
Great. Awesome tips for agents of all levels, new to industry and old dogs looking to invest some time and up their social media game. So very much appreciate your time today on that. If you are an agent and you have questions for Kim, I know that she's always happy to have a chat. Getting her to stop chatting might be harder. Getting her to start chatting. No, I love it. And so, yeah, she's always available, Rockstar. And if you happen to be a buyer or seller looking at this video and like Kim's vibe and want someone to take care of them, she's always happy to help, right? So, hey, check out this and other videos that we have in related to agent tips, our pro tip series, as well as we did do a big 1 hour section on Canva. And so we'll make sure that that's attached to the bottom of this clip. So thanks so much again, Kim. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.